Need to flip the screen real quick. There we go. Oh, one more time. There we go. Actually, one more time. Just rearranging everything, but like switches windows whenever I click away from Downwell. Okay, so hello everybody. How are you doing? So I am Captain Deadeyes. Welcome to Downwell. Today's stream will focus on game design, so we'll frequently stop to talk about what they do to the game and how do they work and stuff like that. I'm not an expert in the field, but rather a college student who has studied game design for at least 3 years. So, with that said, keep in mind that the things that I say may not be representative of the values and goals that Ojiro Fumoto may strive for. That guy is the sole developer behind Downwell, by the way. It's possible that we could get into conjecture, assumptions, or speculation about why these systems work, or game design decisions, stuff like that. Take the things that I say with a grain of salt, but also consider it as food for thought, especially if you want to research a topic concerning game design a bit further on your own. So, this is a test stream, so to speak. I came up with the wild idea of doing something like this with a bigger game like Hades, but I'm going to start with the smallest roguelike experience that I have played, which is Downwell, right here. Downwell was adapted from one out of a dozen other prototypes that Ojiro Fumoto, solo developer, has made, and you will see that this game is easy to pick up. Very easy to pick up. If you catch the... before I say that, it's easy to pick up, but it's hard to master. In case you have never heard of Downwell, this game is a roguelike platformer where you journey down a seemingly bottomless well and fight monsters along the way with a pair of gun boots. Some of you may have already seen that test stream I did like 15 minutes ago, so you may have gotten a taste of how this game works, even though I haven't said anything about it, or maybe just not enough about why this game works or how this game works. You may have seen the controls in the opening title cards when the game boots up, which is that little icon of the character movements paired with the keyboard and the controller. That means that the control scheme is incredibly simple, which is that the only control schemes in this game is side-to-side movement and a jump button. When you press and hold the jump button in midair, I could just demo this right now. So like I said, only side-to-side movement, and if you press and hold the button in midair, you fire your gun boots. And you can press and hold the button and fire and just unload your entire chamber of bullets. Or you can do single fire, which would be helpful for maybe like, say, trying to slow down your fall. Because this game has a lot of verticality. So it's very possible you can like run into like head first into, or maybe say boots first, into an enemy that you can't stomp on top of. So it gets very fast, very frantic, very quickly. What else? Everything else that adds onto the experience is built around this simple control scheme. And you'll see this with the upgrade system, which we will get as we go. And other things like weapon modules, the health system. As you can also see, the UI is incredibly simple. Up at the top left is your health. If you gather health items beyond your maximum health, you will fill up a special bar underneath it. If you fill that one up, your health increases by 1. There's also your ammo count, very large and prominent. Helps you keep track of how many bullets or rounds that you can fire. And then there's your gem count. And you also see that your upgrades will just pool along the bottom on both sides of the screen. But yeah, this game by nature is very simple. Let's see. I already talked about the UI a little bit. Oh yeah, the other thing is that your gun boots always reload when you land, or when you bounce on top of an enemy or breakable object. There will be plenty of those once we get into the game. One more thing for me to say before we actually get into gameplay. I'm sorry I'm just talking a lot, but I promise this will be the last bit of information I'll give. When it comes to action roguelikes, I believe that you need the following systems in your game to make it worthwhile, which is have an upgrade system that directly influences the player. The ways in which you acquire said upgrades is entirely up to the game designer. So Downwell, for example, just gives you an upgrade at the end of each level. You will see that. Have a degree of randomization. This game, this can come in the form of procedural generation of the environment, or randomization of upgrade choices, or randomization of enemy placement, etc. All of that's in Downwell. You will see that as we go. Have a different set of biomes or environments, complete with its own set of enemies or environmental set pieces. In the case of Downwell, you'll see that we'll go from a cavern to a catacomb. Now, actually, there's a total of 4 biomes, which you may have seen in the test stream a little bit ago. But when we get to those, you'll see that each one has their own, that each environment has their own rule sets. And lastly, offer a select set of alternate playstyles. I will show you that in just a moment. This could be as simple as having a cast of playable characters like Nuclear Throne, for instance. Or in the case of Downwell, you'll have what are called styles, and they each impact the player in different ways. So that's all I have for this little spiel. I'll talk more about the game design behind Downwell as we go, and probably make frequent stops. But yeah, let's dive into the well. All right. So as I said, there is the style select right here. I think there is 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, just 5. Okay, yeah, just 5. That makes sense. That's a pretty decent amount of alternate play styles. How do you get these? Well, there is an experience bar that fills up every time you finish a run, whether you die or you just complete the entire run. And if you fill up the bar all the way, you will unlock stuff such as palette swaps or style selects. But I've already gotten all the unlocks, so you won't be able to see the upgrade system at play. Let's see. As for just individual styles, there is the... Let's see. Fighting styles are cool too. Yes, absolutely. As for the individual styles, there's 5 of them, as I just mentioned. There's a standard one with standard gravity, no special modifiers, nothing, no extra bells or whistles. Arm spin, let's see. This says it only finds gun modules. Shops are rare. So I used to use this quite a lot because I was really focused on using the gun modules, which you will find in these tucked away little rooms that you can find along the side as you go. But if you're using arm spin style, you will only find gun modules, and that will just you will be able to only be able to get gun modules that change your weapons and stuff like that. Boulder style starts with more HP, less upgrade options. This is a very good for survivability. This is something that I also picked up. I also picked up this style a lot because I think having more health is very helpful, especially since I'm very accident prone. So this really helps. Levitate style, floaty. Very straightforward. You're just floatier, especially when you bounce on top of enemies or destructible objects. And lastly, handstand style. I was just trying this out earlier today. This is probably the hardest style that you can ever unlock because there's no upgrades. You can't select any upgrades at all. But there's cheaper shop items, so that's nice. So I don't know. I guess if you want to be a masochist, or I guess punish yourself a bit further, or go for a challenge, then go for handstand style. But I'm going to pick levitate style because I think it'll help me with engaging in some of the systems of this game. Let me just turn this down a bit. I can't hear myself talk when my volume is this high. Alright, we're in the cavern. Now normally I would just be blazing through this cavern at insane speed, but I'm going to try to take it easy this time. So off to the side you'll find destructible objects like shovels, probably like statues, stones, that kind of thing. Almost everything gives you gems, and if you get enough gems, you'll get what's called a gem high, and that upgrades your weapon, makes it stronger. I think it gives you a little more range. But yeah, you want to keep that up as long as you possibly can. Now these are the tucked away rooms I was talking about. Sometimes they have weapon modules, sometimes they have gem caches. So it's good to hit that up every once in a while. They're also encased in a time bubble, which means that as long as you're within the time bubble, you everything else freezes. So it's like as if you're in you froze time for a moment. A rule of thumb with the enemies is that anything with anything that has a white top on it means that you can bounce on it. But if it's completely red, then you can't bounce on it, and instead you have to shoot it. And of course that varies with palette swaps, but this is the default palette. So it's just black, white, and red. And also blue once you get to a certain biome. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. This is not my game. I think that should be important to say right up front. This is not my game. I'm just really interested in game design and just want to talk about this simple yet very intuitive game. That's why I had to say, I guess I should have said that this is not my game, but I guess this is why I wanted to say in the beginning of the stream that whatever I say is not representative of the actual developer, Ojiro Fumoto. Futomoto? I don't know. I think I butchered his name. But it's not representative of the solo developer, okay? Yeah. Important to know. Yeah, Downwell's going good. So this is the upgrades. You'll get 3 at a time normally, but like some like styles will alter the amount of selections that you can have at a time. You will always get an upgrade at the end of each level. So by the end of your run, you'll have like, I think you'll have about, there's 3 levels per biome, and there's 4 biomes. So I think you'll have up to 12 upgrades by the time you reach the final boss. But these upgrades affect the player in various ways. Sometimes the ways that they affect the player are otherwise uncanny. Other times they're very helpful. Or sometimes they affect, in rare cases, they affect the enemies. So let's see. As for the uncanny stuff, there is hot casing. I never pick this up. I never pick up hot casing, but it's there. Bullet casings deal damage, which that's probably not something I would think about myself, but it's there. I guess if you just want to pick this, you can if you want to. Knife and fork. This is nice for survivability. consumes some dead bodies to gain health. What happens is that when most enemies die, their corpse will drop, and they disappear after a few seconds. You can, if you have a knife and fork, you can run into the corpses and eat them. And there's a funny eating sound effect, so maybe I could just pick this and show you what I mean. Timeout creates a time void when damaged. It's a lot like those off to the side rooms, except it's pretty self-explanatory. You just create a time void whenever you take damage, and it just freezes everything else in time as long as you're in the void. But there's no other better option, so I'm gonna pick this one, knife and fork. And as I said, there's the red enemies like that snail. I can't stomp on top of him, so I need to shoot him. There's also a little critter. That one. That's the critter. There's also that little red critter that you can't stomp on top of. And they just crawl around the walls. That's all they do. Ugh. Should not have done that. Now the real difficulty in this game goes... The real difficulty of getting through this game fast is when you want to take advantage of the combo system, but also you want to get through these levels as fast as you can. And that's easier said than done, honestly. There is a combo system, actually, where if you stomp a certain amount of enemies in a row without touching the ground, time voids are an exception, then if you get a high enough combo, you will get certain rewards. And I think that highest tier reward you could get is at 25. But you can otherwise just keep going and going with the combo, and yeah, you can just keep going with that if you wanted to. But you don't have to. That's why most of the time I try to go for combos of 25 at a time. So yeah. There's also certain enemies that you can't shoot and you have to stomp, so that's usually enemies like the turtles. Let's see. This is the shop. So the shopkeep only has 3 items at a time. Most of them either give you more health or more charges. Charges are what give you more ammo. And there's some items that give you health and charges, like the energy drink. And then occasionally you'll find I think it's curry that immediately increases your maximum health, but it's not here right now. There's stuff like the rice ball, there's a battery energy drink. I think I'm gonna take this and add on to my extra health counter and get some extra charge. Why not? Now, I guess a smarter decision would be to get the energy drink if I wanted more health and charge, but I didn't do that. And I'm out of gold too, so that's unfortunate. Also, a nice little detail with the shopkeep included things like talking to him. And also other little things that you could try to do, such as trying to purchase something that does not exist. The sound effects kind of sound like the things that he's saying, which I think is a nice little detail. Thanks for coming, Dan. Have fun. Let's see. And there's also this tidbit here. If I'm too poor, he'll tell me, which is kind of unfortunate. The only nice little detail about the shopkeep is that I could get behind him if I wanted to. He won't fight me at all. You can't kill him either. But it's just funny. It's the little details I like. Okay. Oh, confounded frog! Hopped away. You can see there's some Super Mario rule sets in here, like the dirt blocks. You can shoot them, but you can also You can also break them by bonking your head from beneath. So that's cool. Heart balloon, pretty balloon. I know the description does not do it any justice, but you get a balloon if you pick up the heart balloon. And if an enemy touches it, it explodes. So that's a very nice get out of jail free card if an enemy's chasing you from above. Let's see. There's hot casing again. But I'm going to pick popping gems. Because that'll punish any enemy that's above me. And you can see does that work through the sound design, which is very helpful feedback. Oh, yeah, that's right. I have knife and fork, so I can eat corpses. So I should probably be doing that. Nom nom nom. So if you eat enough corpses, you'll get more health. And I think that just added to my extra health counter. Oh. Oh, welcome back, Dan. Okay, here's a nice little thing about the moveset. There is a wall jump, but like it's incredibly precise. It's not easy to execute either. So the thing is that you have to be facing against a wall and then immediately press the A button in the opposite direction at the same time. And I think you can only wall jump once at a time until you land or stomp on something. But yeah, that's just another like that's more like of a advanced trick if you ever wanted to pick up this game. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's the curry I was talking about. That just increases your max health. Let's see, that's a red eye. I don't like those because they chase you, and they bounce along the walls too. So that's not very helpful. So I just got a bonus from that combo. I had, how many did I have? Like 7? I couldn't tell because there were enemies in front of the text. But the first tier combo award is 100 gems. And then the second tier is an extra charge. And the last one, being at 25, will be extra health. 1 extra point of health. Seven combo. So I guess I had to reach a combo of 10 or something to get the first tier reward. Oh, here's another thing. I think this frog is going to jump in front of the time void. Any enemies that touch the time void will die. Like so. So sometimes the enemy will just like mosey on over to a time void upon happenstance, and I'm just like, oh, that's unfortunate. Or you can try to manipulate them into running into the time void. Like, let's say we could try that with the eye. I couldn't tell if I shot it or not, but whatever. It's dead. There's different weapons in this game. Max HP up. Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, just like that, I filled up this bar, and when it's filled, it increases my max HP. So that's actually really helpful in the long run. Let's see. Safety jetpack. This is very self-explanatory. Jetpack for use when out of charge. That means if you're out of charge, you could just keep pressing and holding the jump button, and you'll use your jetpack. Rocket jump, lift off. I might pick this one later if I find it again. But I like rocket jump. It just emits a large explosion when you jump from the ground. And it's helpful to like ward off any strong enemies like the red eyes. So now we're at the catacomb. There's an entirely different set of enemies here. There's ghosts, but there's also bats, so there's some overlap with the enemy composition. Depends on where you are. But there's hopping skulls, there's ghosts, there's specters that you can't jump on. Those specters just kind of fly around and do their thing, but the ghosts chase you, and that's not very helpful. Let's see. More of the same stuff. Sushi, car battery. Yeah, you can pick up a car battery. Why not? I think I want more charge. And I have enough for sushi, too. So I could just increase my extra health counter. Why not? You can also bounce on torches. That's a unique design aspect of the catacombs. I don't think there's as many bounceable objects on the ground as there are in the caverns. So I think it's just the torches that are the only things that you can bounce on in the catacombs. Okay, I need one more kill. There we go. Combo 25, got gems, charge, and health. So generally, I like to try to do that as much as I can. But that could get very messy very quickly, especially when all these enemies are all on the screen at once. Okay, here's another unique aspect of the catacombs. If I could jump up there. Spike traps. There's some nice audio and visual feedback whenever you land on these red platforms. So it gives you the chance to jump away from it if you can. But yeah, that's only in the catacombs. Let's see. Rest in pieces. Shooting dead bodies causes them to explode. I could pick this up, but it'll conflict with knife and fork if I want to keep eating the corpses. So I probably don't want to pick that up in this run. Have I played any of the Jack series? No, I have not. Let's see. There's also gem powered. That's actually very helpful. Getting gems recharges gun boots. So I'm going to pick that up. Now, it is possible to rack up a combo in any biome. Of course, you just got to keep in mind of the unique aspects of each biome and navigate yourself around them, including enemy composition and environmental hazards. Let's see. Car battery, why not? Can't buy anything else, so that's sad. I forget how many weapons there are in total. Skeleton! Ah! I don't like the skeletons. There we go. Maybe I'll just coast through here. What are we gonna find? Gem cache. So I think there is... How many weapons are there? There's the machine gun. I have the puncher. There's Nappy. There is the laser. There's a shotgun. There's a triple shot. Am I forgetting anything? I think that's at least 6 different weapons. And they're all indicated by a different letter in the gun modules, which you'll see if we ever find one. I don't think I got to talk about those very much, so if I find one, we'll get to it. It's like a collectathon, but it has some combat aspects to it, making it a nice little game. I wouldn't say collectathon so much, because collectathons are traditionally 3D adventure games. But this game does does emphasize on gathering gems, because there is the gem high gauge at the top of the screen. And then you can also spend your gems on shopkeep items. But like collectathon means, or more like implies that there's more than one collectible to collect. and you have to be able to, or it's more like you want to be able to collect all of them. And there's some that are like very basic stuff, like the gems in here, or like special tier ones, like maybe superstars in Super Mario 64. Downwell is not quite like that. It's more of an action roguelike. Plus, like every run must come to an end in this game, and there's permadeath. So if you die, then your run ends. But if you beat the final boss, then your run also ends too. That's just roguelikes by nature. That's how they work. Some of them are endless, kind of like Nuclear Throne, but Downwell's not like that. But yeah, just thought I'd like make that a little distinction. If you're experienced with playing multiple genres of games. Let's see. Reverse engineering! Shoot a gun module to reshuffle it once. That's very nice if you don't like the gun module that you find and you want a different weapon. Though, I may actually want Gem Attractor. Members card's nice, especially if you like shopping from the shopkeep a lot. But I'm going to pick this one. This is very helpful. Also, like with Zelda, there's different rupees. I don't know if I would classify Legend of Zelda as a collectathon either, especially with, I mean, even with Ocarina of Time. For me, that's a maybe? I don't know. When I think of collectathon, I think of more like Super Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, Hat in Time, if you know of indie games. And also Donkey Kong 64. That's technically a collectathon as well. You know, those kinds of games. Let's see. What do I want? I'm about to get a charge, so I'll just get health. Kind of dying a little bit. Need one more. I need to land. Please let me land. Here's another tidbit about the catacombs. Those giant skulls, if you shoot him, he'll turn red, and I think he'll start to chase you as well. So it's ideal to stomp them. So part of the fun of playing Downwell is understanding how these enemies work. Especially that skeleton, who launches harmful bones, but you can stomp on him, if you can. Or shoot him. He takes a lot of damage, though. Let's see. Maybe barking up the wrong tree. That's okay. That's okay. Let's see. So this is a gun module. I never really talked much about the gun modules. I believe this one is the burst. I guess that means there's 7 weapons. I don't think I counted the burst. But if it's in that kind of square case... Oh, I should probably silence my phone. If it's in that square case, then that means I will get extra charge. But if it's shaped like a heart, then obviously I'll get more hearts. Or actually, 1 more hit point. The charge modules... The charge versions of the gun modules give you 2 charge, but the health versions give you 1 health. Now what I have here is the burst. And as you can see, as I'm picking up different weapons, it changes the amount of ammo it uses when I fire. Some of the stronger ones use more bullets, while some of the weaker ones, like the machine gun, use less. So if I pick up, say, the laser or the shotgun, those are the ones that use the most charges. Just as I was saying, this is the health one. You can see that change right away. I went from the burst to the machine gun, and now I can fire more than once. I can fire for a longer time. Until I'm empty. I think like some of the weapons like the Nappy, which is not too different from machine gun except that you can aim a little bit when you move. And I think weapons like the Nappy and the machine gun are nice at the beginning of the game. Especially when you start with the game. You always start with the machine gun. Especially since you start with 8 charges. And it's very hard to stay airborne when you have something like the laser or the shotgun. And it just uses so much ammo in the beginning. Oh, I better be more careful. Just keep bouncing on the torches and go on down. What platform is Downwell on? It's on Steam. I'm playing it on Steam. I think it's on the Switch since like a few years ago, I think. I forget where else it is. I think it could be on Xbone and PS4. I think it's worth checking. Yeah, it's on iOS too. This game is so simple. You could play it on your smartphone. It's very cool. Very cool. Laser sight, that's very self-explanatory. The drone, beep boop, hello, I'm a drone. The description doesn't help, but if you get the drone, it fires whenever you fire a bullet. So I think I'm gonna pick this one. Yeah, if you have a Switch, you can pick up this game on the Switch. So now we're here at the Aquifer. Very different rule set. I can't breathe underwater for too long. So that means if I am low on health, if my if I am low on air, or actually if I run out of air, I will start taking damage. So it's ideal that I keep that gauge up constantly. Unfortunately, the side caches have a pocket of air destructible item that you could find. That's very nice. So you can see that the turtles are back, but they're sea turtles. I can't shoot them, but I can bounce on them. Just like in the cavern. Light or normal? Oh no, wait. I think the normal switch. Normal and light. Yeah, both of them. Yeah, this game's so simple that like it's not restricted to just the standard version of the Switch. So, yeah, if you have the Switch Lite, I'm pretty sure you'll be fine. Let's see. Gem Sick, Gem High lasts for a longer duration. That's nice, especially if you're trying to be defensive. Apple, yeah, very self-explanatory. Gain 4 HP. I usually pick this up to get more max HP, so I may just do that. Get 6 max HP. As you see, the trend of harmful red objects continues in the environment. This was not exactly... this is not like the spike traps in the catacombs. This time, at least. But, like, because the red coral actually just outright damages you. So you have to be very careful. I am going to die. Let me in! Okay. We are fine. This is fine. Pretty sure Downwell is pretty cheap too, so like, yeah, totally. I would totally recommend this game. Ah! So like going through the aquifer is pretty stressful, as you can see. I had to keep up an air gauge and not get hit at the same time. Okay. Rocket jump. I might pick that up. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I have one more level to go through in the aquifer. Now, youth is pretty nice. You gain 1 HP and you get more upgrades to choose from the next time you get an upgrade choice. So, I picked this up for like survivability reasons, especially since I'm very accident prone. So, I think this will help me in the final boss. So I'm gonna pick this. You also notice that the sound design is much different in when you're underwater. I think that's thanks to Jonas Turner. Oh, what's this? Hi.
The gray ones?
Yes. Okay. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I may have to go. And how many more minutes? I may have to go in 15, 20 minutes maybe? I don't know. We'll see. This is a very short game anyway. Oh yeah, I was talking about the sound designer. If you played Nuclear Throne, or what are some other games he's made, or if you play Nuclear Throne, or Bleed, or Scourgebringer, that's the same sound designer that works on this game. But yeah, let's see. I am going to die of asphyxiation. That's not very helpful. I'm gonna pick this. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. As you can see, the squids like start to charge down the bottom of the screen when they reach the top. That's just another level of intensity going on here. Alright, here's the shotgun. Oh, let's take a moment to appreciate the rocket jump as much as we can. I just love the animations in this game. I don't know if Ojiro did it himself or something, but it's really cool. It's very, very snappy. I think it looks a little better outside of water, but it's still great nonetheless. I don't appreciate these critters. Alright, down we go. Gunpowder blocks. I wish I got that earlier. I'm gonna pick up the drone. So the drone fires when I fire, which means since I have the shotgun, it'll be a lot less hit than usual. Oh, I'm going to die. I'm gonna die, aren't I? Welcome to Limbo, everybody. Were you prepared for this? I don't think you were. There is very little solid ground, but instead, there's a lot of floating objects you can bounce on. A lot of strange projectiles that you can shoot down. And lots of spikes. You don't want to touch the spikes. This is a very strange place. This is the last biome before the final boss. But you'll see right away that it is very easy to rack up a combo. Though I find myself having to fight against not just the enemies, but also against the lack of solid ground. So if I wanted to be able to get my rewards quickly, I have to be patient enough to find a cache along the side. And that could get pretty infuriating in the Limbo. Let's see. Let's pick this up, get my reward, and be on my way. Oof. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. What happens when you get to the end of the well? It's the final boss, and you will see. Let's see. Candle. The strange thing about invincibility when you take damage is that I think it's important to keep in mind that this game was built in Game Maker, so I'm guessing this could be down to the game engine itself. But when you take damage, the game freezes a little bit for like a split second. So that may be off-putting to some people, but I would use that to your advantage, as it gives you a chance to get yourself out of a sticky situation if you must, while you still have the invincibility frames. But the candle like prolongs that invincibility time. So I don't have any better options. I'm gonna pick this. Game Maker, what's that? It's a game engine. You can make games on it, but it's primarily 2D games. So if you've heard of Nuclear Throne or what's that one game? Hyper Light Drifter. Both of those are made in Game Maker. They're both really good games as well. So I would look at those as well if you wanted to. Let's see. But yeah, Downwell's made in Game Maker. Let's see. Card battery? Sure, why not? I can't buy anything else. That's sad. I like how the objects are just random items, like barrels, car. You could find cars in here. It's so weird. There's laptops, too. And teddy bears and chairs. There's a table somewhere. Yeah, there's a table. It's a very bizarre place. Very nightmarish, too. There's also those specters that we saw in the catacombs, which I guess that makes sense, since there's a lot of enemies that we can only shoot. The only things we'll get bounced on are the floating objects. And they make very strange noises when you bounce on them, as I'm sure you may have already heard. I love the animation so much, especially the rocket jump. I think this is about the same as it is underwater. So that makes sense. Gotta have some consistency. A neat trick with the weapons like the shotgun and the laser is that you get a bit of an upkick when you fire. So if you're trying to get some upward momentum, then the shotgun's for you. Blast module! I love this one. Stomping on enemies creates a blast. I wish I got this earlier. So whenever I stomp on anything, which on here will have to be destructible objects, I will emit a blast. It's very helpful, especially when there's a lot of enemies below you. You need to clear them out. Please give me some solid ground. Please. There's a cow skull, too. I forgot about that. Like I said, very strange place. Alright. Thank you very much. Triple. Alright. Oh, baby, a triple. I like how a lot of these weapons are very straightforward. Like as if they're based off of, like, off of run and gun games. So you have things like the burst, or the shotgun, or the triple, or the puncher. The puncher is just like, oh, it's just a wider triple shot base, basically. I think we had that earlier. But like, I've changed through weapons so much in this run that like, I've already forgotten which ones I've already gotten. Probably gotten at least each one at least once in this entire run. So like, you will have to master the ins and outs of each weapon in Downwell. I'm going to die. Let's see. I need health. Let's get that. And more health. Let's get that. Oh, I have enough for this. Sure. Let's do it. Wait, one more thing. Sorry, I like doing that. Okay. Up ahead is the final boss. I think I'm going to pick this up. Normally, you will find the shopkeep before you fight the boss. So I'm going to do that. Hello. I can't buy anything. That's sad. Okay. Then that membership card was for nothing. Hello, Big Bad. How are you? Alright, you'll see right away that this final boss is like a final exam. Because what the boss is doing is that they're launching, like, I guess transparent versions of the enemies from the cavern? It's very weird. You'll see what I mean as to why I call this a final exam when we get to the next phase. I like bosses like this because, like, it really tests your skill and not just the game mechanics itself, but also tests your experience in going through each of the biomes in different environments and stuff. It tests your ability to navigate around certain circumstances that you have experienced before. And there's also falling teeth. You gotta look out for those. And also along the way, you will find gun modules. I'm gonna pick that up. Alright, we're going on to the next phase. Ah, see? The spike traps. This is what I mean. We're now in the catacomb section. Let's see, there's specters, and I think, yeah, he'll also shoot ghosts. Oop. No. Oh, man. That top wall is really catching up to me. Even if you have a time void up, the top wall will just slowly inch towards you. So, it lights a fire under your butt. You gotta keep going. And now we have the aquifer section. I think squids and those fish critters will show up. I don't know their names. But you know the ones. They're the red ones. Yeah, that guy. There we go. Oh, should not have jumped. This is fine. This is fine. I have plenty of charges anyway. I will be fine. Kind of scary how the projectiles from below phase through phase through the walls, actually. So no corner is safe from the boss. Oof. Please. Let me out of here. Get off of my tail. Let me out of here. I think I'll be fine. I think I'll be fine. Nope, this isn't fine. This is not okay. Ah! Well, GG. Oh, That's sad. You never get to see the end game. Ah, man. But yeah, this is the final boss is basically just a big old final exam. And let's see. I spent 30 minutes getting through that game because I was just taking my time and stuff. Oh, it's still shooting. Interesting. Oh, what is it doing? Look at its eye! Oh. I don't think it was prepared for this. Anyway, this is the game over screen. So it tells you, like, which level you've died on, how many gems you've accumulated, how many kills you've gotten, your max combo, time spent. And this is the progress bar. I've already maxed it out, but if you unlock stuff through the progress bar, you'll get like color palettes, styles, as we've just seen in the beginning. And I think that's it. But yeah. I'm just going to go back to the surface. And now we're just going to look at extra stuff, because why not? Let's see. There's a quick start button. Nice. So I guess if you want to be all speedrunnery and stuff, you could press that. Palette swaps. There's at least 37 of them. It's a lot. But yeah, some of these are like, have like alternate color schemes. So there's like Matcha, Aqua. There's some that are based on Nintendo products, like the Game Boy, Virtual Boy. There's a pastel version. There's it. Umekopocha. Nuclear. Very nice. Grandma. There's a grayscale version, if you wanted to. 1-bit, if you don't like color. Mars. Bokju. Purpley. Vivid. Old and cold. Yeah. Lots of neat color palette swaps, but I stick to the default one because it's easier on my eyes. I think like some of the colder colors on a LCD screen, like blues and purples, that kind of stuff, those hurt my eyes, but not red. Red is okay. There's also stats too, so you can check up the leaderboards if you wanted to. I don't know if it's the same. I don't know what's going to be like on other platforms, but this is just what it looks like for me on Steam. But yeah, this is a very simple yet intuitive game. Definitely recommend it. I think that's all I have to say at the very least. There's probably stuff that I missed, like certain upgrades, other intertwined systems in the game, maybe, that I might have missed, or like how certain enemies work and stuff like that. But I've covered a large bulk of how Downwell works. I don't know. It's a very simple, very straightforward roguelike, and it always keeps you on your toes. That's one of the big things about Downwell, especially if you want to rack up combos or speedrun. That'll keep you on your toes even further. There's also a hard mode if you beat the final boss at least once. So if you want a greater challenge, you can do that if you wanted to. What hard mode basically does is that it alters the environment in some way, or it just adds in enemies that you otherwise wouldn't find in each biome. Like, for example, the cavern will throw in a red eye that chases that spawns above you and will constantly chase you, and it's terrifying. And that's what makes hard mode so hard in the beginning, because there's that big red eye that's always chasing you, and it's annoying. But other environments affect the environment in other factors, such as the catacombs having the spike traps run on their own, or the aquifer being a lot more deadlier than usual. But yeah, this is a very arcadey, very simple roguelike. I would especially pick this game up, especially if you happen to have enough to get it, but also if you want to get into roguelikes. This is a very simplistic system to look into, as opposed to games with more complex systems, such as, say, Nuclear Throne, or Hades, or Binding of Isaac, or Scourgebringer. Scourgebringer, I think it's a little more simpler as opposed to things like Binding of Isaac and Nuclear Throne, but it's still very deep in any case. But yeah. Thanks, Dan. Game is like $3. It's a steal. I've already shown you a lot of how this game works, but like, which I guess may take away the charm of discovery, in a sense. Because part of the fun of playing a roguelike, especially when you go into a game with when you go into a game blind, is that part of the experience of playing a roguelike is getting into a new environment or trying out a new play style for the first time. So those kinds of aspects are what keep the gameplay fresh and exciting, and it gives you a chance to come back to it. I have sunk in like maybe 50 hours into it, but it probably wouldn't take you. It won't take you that long to like complete the game. At least once. At least I hope it wouldn't. But still a very fun game. There's also like also this is a very gameplay driven game. So if you're expecting a narrative, I don't think this is it. I don't think this will be it, Chief. Sorry. But if you're just in it for the gameplay, then Downwell has you set. Plus it's like $3. Why not? And if that were the case, I would pick it up at full price. Not when it's on sale. Because man, is the developer underselling themselves. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do more live analysis videos on like other roguelikes as well, especially ones that I played a lot of. So maybe like Nuclear Throne, maybe Scourgebringer as well, when it releases its 1.0 release, which I believe comes in mid-October. That game has, Scourgebringer has a confirmed 1.0 release. I want to do Hades as well, especially from a fresh file, but nobody knows when the 1.0 release is for that, so I think we'll find out about that later. But yeah. I think that's all I got. I don't know. Does anyone have any questions on like Downwell strategies or game design or maybe me before I take off? I think if I wanted to hold more streams like this, it will be on YouTube. It will make it accessible to a large audience at least. What's your favorite game series? That's tough because my favorites change so often. I'd probably say something like, when I was growing up, it was Kirby. Really liked the Kirby series. Though I don't know what that's going to be like from here on out after I played Star Allies. But I think I really like Splatoon. Aside from Kirby. Try Shovel Knight. I already tried Shovel Knight, actually. It's a fun game, but like, it's very ingrained in that retro aesthetic, right down to its control scheme. And I don't know. I don't think I would want to be able to pick up Shovel Knight again. but I have played it. Nice, I understand. Thanks. Yeah, I don't mean to say that I don't like. I don't mean to say that Shovel Knight is bad or whatever. It's just there's taste for every individual gamer, honestly. And Shovel Knight kind of really appeals to that specific retro aesthetic, like all the NES era games and stuff like that. So if you want more of that, then I would absolutely go for Shovel Knight. Especially if you grew up with the Nintendo Entertainment System. Or 8-bit games in general. I think that Downwell really nails that 8-bit aesthetic as well. But like, it keeps the systems simple yet complex, but it also has a lot of room for error when it comes to like maybe taking damage and stuff like that. As you go along in the gameplay, because there's a lot of chances to pick up health, which I think is very nice if you want to keep going and you're accident prone like me. As opposed to like more retro games that have health pickups very few and far in between. What's your favorite console? On Nintendo, mine's Game Boy or GameCube. My favorite console. It's kind of tough because it's somewhere. It's probably come down to the consoles that I've owned. I'd probably say. I think I would say the Switch, but the Wii is a close second, especially because of how innovative its hardware design is and stuff at the time. But now that I look back at the Wii, I'm just like, this is not very third-party friendly over here. That's not to say there's no indie games on the Wii, but like the support for it was, I think, was kind of lackluster. But like over time, Nintendo kind of like allowed for more indie games to show up on their Wii U. I guess by a smaller margin, so it was still not very great on the Wii U. But the Switch is what really allowed indie game devs to really take off, especially with Indie World. They now have presentations on indie games, which I think is so cool. Yeah, I can see why people would like the Switch. Yeah, it's just it's another hard hitter as far as Nintendo hardware goes. And it also has an innovative hardware design. Albeit flawed, but it's still cool. Kind of wish Nintendo fixed up their quirks when it came to manufacturing their console, but they're a corporation. What can you do? The light doesn't switch, though. Well, yeah, the Switch Lite doesn't do that by design. Nintendo intentionally designed it to be like that. That's just a design choice that they made. It's like, it reminds me of the Nintendo 2DS. Except that, like, the 3D function on the 3DS was purely cosmetic. But like the Switch Lite takes out like a more like core functionality, which I think is unfortunate. But it's cheaper, so if you're tight on cash and you want to get a Switch, then I guess try the Switch Lite if you wanted to. Probably, I think it has a longer battery life too, if I recall correctly. Any final words from anybody before I take off? Because I need to eat dinner. I'm starving. And I'm thirsty. I liked all the DS series. I like the Star Wars games, by the way. Nice. Yeah, I'm sorry this was a relatively short stream. I only broke over an hour. And you never saw the final boss. That's sad. Well, actually, you never saw what happens when I beat the final boss. Not in this stream. Maybe if you're here before I streamed this stream, I did a test stream and I actually beat the final boss. But I didn't do that here. So I guess that means that, like, gotta play the game. Sorry. What game do you like that not a lot of people talk about? Assault Android Cactus. That's also on the Switch as well. I would pick that up. I love twin stick shooters. And like, I get it now because like the initial like hype period when the game first released it's just kind of dead, especially after the re-releases. But nobody really talks about Assault Android Cactus, and I love it to death. Please play it. I think Assault Android Cactus is also on Steam, PS4, Xbone, the works, and the Switch, as I just mentioned. Hell, I could probably talk your ear off about Assault Android Cactus, but I don't have that game booted up now, do I? Maybe for another time. And I know Assault Android Cactus sounds like a funny name, but like, that's just what the developers do. That's their design choice, not mine. They have a character named Cactus, and she's the title character, I think. She's the poster girl. Poster girl, yeah. And I think she's the first character you play as in the game too. Assault Cactus Android. How much I wonder? Last I checked, that game is $20 to $25, I think. It's a little steep, but not nearly as bad as a AAA game. But it's still a very well designed twin stick shooter. So if you're into the sort of arcadey like games, and being able to like mow down hundreds of enemies in each level, and like some really sick EDM beats or electronic music, then pick that game up. All right, I need to like close the game. Oof. Okay, I think I'd love to talk more, but I should get going. I should eat dinner. Hopefully I can run more streams like this every now and then. But until then, I'm going to make sure that the VOD for this stream is up on my YouTube. So if anyone wants to watch me fumble around while playing Downwell and stuff, you can look at that. But yeah, thank you all for coming. I'll see you next time.